Hi, this is Emily Rainbow Davis. I am the artistic director of Messenger Theater Company and the creator of The Dragoning. Just popping into your feed for a little Dragon City Radio extra. We are still fundraising. We've now raised enough money to pay our actors, which is great news. But we still need some funds for sound design. And sound design is so important to this show. I'm sure if you listened to season 1, you know how important it is to this show. I am not using a professional sound designer for these Dragon City Radio moments. This is me hacking it out with a GarageBand editing situation. And you can probably hear the difference. If you can't, cool. That's very cool. I like that. But for the actual show, we need our guy. We need all the help we can get. So if you have not yet donated to help make season 2, please do. Those links are in the show notes. We have fundraisers on Facebook, on Ko-fi. You can also donate via GuideStar or PayPal. You can write us a check. There's so many ways to help us out. All those links are in the show notes, or you could just go straight to messengertheaterco.org/support. There are lots of links there to get you there if the show notes do not provide for you. So here, what we have today is a little experiment, a little bit of fun. This is an advice show for the world of Dragon City. I bow and take my hat off to and thank with all my heart the amazing Brooke Turner. If you've seen a Messenger Theater Company production or reading or experiment or experience in the last handful of years, then you surely have seen Brooke Turner on the stage. And now you get to hear her in this Dragon City Radio exploration. And she also played Christina in season 1. So if you want to go back and get some more Brooke, head back to season 1, listen to Christina's bit. All right, so here we are. Little bit of Dragon City Radio call-in. By the way, the email that I have put in this piece is real. I have made a real email to receive emails for advice. So if you want some dragon advice, it's real. You can send one. And maybe we'll make another Dear Allie and throw it on here for everyone's listening enjoyment. So, without further ado, I give to you Brooke Turner and myself in Dragon City Allie.
You are listening to Dragon City Radio, DRGN, on your radio dial. It's Monday night, so that means we have our special Monday night treat for you. It's Dear Allie, our call-in advice show. Do you have a dragon-related problem? Allie Advice Columnist can help. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Dear Allie, the advice show specifically for the people of Dragon City who tend to have some unique problems. I'm Allie, and I'm here to help. If you have a dragon problem, concern, or conundrum, maybe I can assist you. Call in now, 555-DRGN. Looks like we have our first call. You're on with Allie, caller. Tell me the trouble.
Hi, Allie. Thanks for taking my call. I'm a real fan of the show.
Aw, that's sweet. And we're already a fan of you. How can I help?
Well, there's this woman at work, and I'm pretty sure she's a dragon. And I'd like to let her know that I'm supportive and, that I'm not a speciesist or anything. But I don't know how. What should I say?
Well, caller, this is a very good question. I'm sure there are many listeners who have similar concerns, so thank you for calling. My thoughts on this are complicated, so stick with me here. First, I don't think you should say anything directly. I know that runs counter to what we may have learned in school or even in therapeutic practice, but in this case, if your coworker is, in fact, a dragon, she very likely would prefer to keep that a secret. It is dangerous to self-disclose for many of the dragons, and some are not even aware of their own dragonhood. If she doesn't know it yet, do you want to be the one to tell her?
No, I guess not.
I also think it might be important to consider how someone might feel if you were wrong about their dragonness. What makes you think this woman is a dragon?
She's just been a little different lately. And she's always been so nice, and she's been coming in late these past few weeks.
Sure, I see why you're suspicious, but I think you have to consider that this person could have other reasons for lateness and a sudden change in personality. Think of how you might feel if someone approached you and told you they were supportive of dragons and wink, wink, you know.
But I'm not a dragon.
I know, but you see how you reacted at even the suggestion? Usually, I'm in support of saying something, but in this case, it might do more harm than good.
But isn't there something I can do?
If you want to make your workplace comfortable for dragons, you can help by interrupting jokes at their expense, by defending them in absentia, or in presence, I guess, and making changes in your workplace culture. Your coworker may never disclose to you, and you can't take that personally. It literally has nothing to do with you. And just a tip for our audience in general, while we're talking about workplace culture and safety, if you want to keep your workplace safe for everyone, try and anticipate the things that tend to lead to dragons losing control and address those head on. If you have a colleague who always interrupts women at meetings and or repeats their ideas as if they were their own, go ahead and start the process of addressing that now. It is a literal safety precaution at this point. You can even phrase it as such. You can say, the Dragon Safety Commission recommends avoiding interrupting women while they are speaking for the safety of all parties. Just a little tip. Which reminds me, we are compiling a tip sheet for working safely with dragons. If you've discovered something that you've found effective in your office, be you dragon or non-dragon, please email us at DragonCityAllie@gmail.com. If you have an anecdote to share about your tip, please share that too, as I may write a book at some point. And don't worry, we won't ask for your name or any identifying information. Let's take another call. You're on with Allie, caller. Tell me the trouble.
All dragon lovers will die.
Gee whiz, how did that guy get past our screeners?
Sorry, Allie. That was supposed to be a call about dragons in church. He sounded very normal in the screening.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Sorry about that, listeners. Let's try another call. You're on with Allie, caller. Tell me the trouble.
Hi, Allie. Thanks for taking my call. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm hoping you can help me with an etiquette question.
Etiquette. My mother's favorite topic. Let's see what we can do.
Well, I'm getting married in a few months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anyway, we have a few friends that my fiance and I are pretty sure are dragons, and we'd like to have them at the wedding, but we'd also like to avoid a massacre.
Of course. Most of us would prefer to have a massacre-free wedding.
So what do we do? Do we not invite these potential dragons, or ask them outright if they are?
How sure are you they're dragons?
Not sure, just suspicious.
Okay, how about possible dragon triggers?
What do you mean?
Are the men you're inviting likely to inspire some dragons to emerge?
I don't follow.
Are you inviting any douchebags?
Oh,
I'll take that as a yes.
I just wouldn't call.
Say no more. I get it. So, this is a high-risk event. Honestly, caller, I don't know that inviting or not inviting your possible dragon friends is the major question. They could be dragons, or someone else might be, the ones you don't suspect. But you also can't be sure that the catering staff don't include a dragon or two. The parking attendant could be, the officiant. Frankly, I think you're better off isolating the possible trigger than failing to invite good friends who might possibly be dragons. Let's say it's your future father-in-law.
I didn't.
I know, it's not. I'm just using him as an example. A possible trigger is unlikely to understand that he is a trigger. That is, explaining that he should stay in the hotel or something and why will not work. It's an incredibly tricky situation and one a lot of people will be in.
So what do I do?
If you can avoid inviting the possible triggers, do that. If it's not possible and you can't accidentally lock him in his room, I'd recommend enrolling a squad of people to surround him at all times. Create a human blockade so that even if the trigger pulls the trigger by saying something dumb, there's a barrier between him and any dragons. Obviously, you'll have to choose the squad carefully. I'd give anyone an easy opt-out just in case you happen to choose a dragon for the job by accident.
Right. Okay.
Do this for all the possible triggers you cannot avoid inviting. And for pity's sake, do not let any one of those possible triggers give a speech. If it's unavoidable, like he's your dad and he's waited his whole life to give a father of the bride speech, I'd just go ahead and cancel all the speeches. Don't have a microphone on hand. Remove all temptation.
Oh, boy.
Safety first, I'm sorry to say. You can tell your family it's a safety precaution. You don't have to tell them who you're worried about.
But shouldn't I be worried about the dragons?
The dragons are reactive. They respond to the world around them. They're actually perfectly peaceable most of the time. They don't want to dragon out at your wedding any more than you want them to dragon out. They want to have a nice time. They want you to have a beautiful day. The only thing that could disrupt that is some triggering behavior from an unconscious man.
This is a lot. Can't I just not invite my possible dragon friends?
Of course. Just be prepared to lose those women as friends if they were expecting to join you that day.
This is very hard.
It might be a good year to elope and have a big ceremony later once we figured out how to negotiate these kinds of things a little better.
Oh, we've got a deposit down on the venue.
Of course. Well, thank you for your call. Good luck. There you have it, folks. I can't solve them all. But I will reiterate that no wedding here right now is likely to be 100% safe. If you can't wait, do a city hall ceremony and have a party later. We'll have found safer ways to do things before too terribly long. Before we wrap up here, we'll look at one request from the mailbag. Here we go. Dear Allie, thank you for taking our letters and messages. My pleasure. Thank you for writing. I've recently discovered that I am a dragon, and I'm getting a lot of support from the Dragon Hotline, as you have suggested on the show, but I'm not quite sure how to handle something, and much of the dragon community is also a bit stuck on this point. Oh boy, this sounds like it's going to be complicated. I've been to see my family a few times in the last few months, and my aunt makes dragon jokes nonstop, and before you ask, no, they're not funny. How did she know I was going to ask if they were funny? Anyway, I know I can't disclose that I'm a dragon to my family without putting them and myself at risk, but how do I put a stop to these dragon jokes without self-disclosing? Would love your perspective on this. Signed, Not Finding This Funny. Well, not finding this funny, you are in a sticky situation, no doubt. My first thought would be to invent a dragon best friend that you have to defend. The best friend happens to be you, but for the purpose of this experience, she's your dear friend who is a dragon. You can imagine that it is she that needs support and defending, and you might explain to your aunt that every time she makes this sort of joke, you imagine how your friend would feel if she heard it. And perhaps you will find the thing to say to your aunt that will do the trick. You might tell her how you imagine your friend would feel, how you feel when you hear them, for your friend, of course. And you could ask her to make jokes about something else. Will this work? Depends on what sort of person your aunt is. Some aunts might not care about your feelings or the feelings of your friend. In those cases, it will be unlikely to work. But if she's an aunt who cares about your feelings, a change could happen. If she's the former, that is, the kind of person who might become more aggressively funny when asked to tone it down, you can try a disruptive strategy. Every time she starts a dragon joke, start singing. Sing loud. Sing the same song every time. Maybe Puff the Magic Dragon. It might seem as though you're inspired every time she brings up dragons, but it will drive everyone crazy. And eventually, after they've given up getting you to stop singing, they'll turn to her to stop inspiring your singing. It'll take commitment and tolerance with annoying your whole family, but it might be fun if appealing to feelings won't work. Best of luck not finding this funny. Let us know how it goes. That's our show, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please send in your questions and concerns to DragonCityAllie@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.